All right, we're live. Welcome. We have Kettle and Rich on the Hangout tonight, and I believe we should be getting a couple more people in a little bit, so this should be a fun one. So, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Yeah.
Oh. It's been a while. Have you haven't been on before, have you, Kettle?
I caught not the end of the last month.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. It's been a while. Rich, you haven't been on in a while either. You've been busy.
Yeah, busy.
We have Kettle and Rich on the Hangout tonight, and I believe we should be getting a couple more people. Uh-oh, we got some time warp going on. Somebody.
One.
So, what is everybody working on?
I'm currently working on orc blockers. You can see.
You're gonna be playing some Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl. So I just skinned this armature. So I was making shoulders a bit too narrow for orcs. So I've just made up this new one, give it a bit more space in the shoulder. Is it going the right way?
Yeah, it's very deceptive how beefy you need to make things when it's in the armature stage. When you make them very wide.
Yeah, I
characters.
tend to make them undersized and then have issues beefing them up and armatures sticking out random places. Do I have yes. There we go.
I am tabbing some shield forms. Not super glamorous, but it needs to be done. Hey, Tim Hill, welcome, sir.
Hey.
Glad you're able to make it. Tim mentioned that he was going to watch, and I said, hey, you want to come on? Figured everybody would enjoy that.
Yeah, I'll do screen share.
Cool. Hey, we got Zetliker, Dreadnought. Hey, Mikawai. Gosh, I'm going to mention it here because I totally forgot to mention it in my intro as I was frantically getting the video done. But I meant to thank Mikawai. Mikawai actually did the really awesome new intro. And that's actually just like kind of a placeholder one. So, but it still looks super awesome.
I was going to ask you about that. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I was like, oh, this is amazing. He's like, oh, that's just the placeholder one. I get him some more elements.
Nice.
So that's pretty exciting. All right, what do I find in my glue? Whatever my glue. There. I use putty. So, Tim, you're going to start a personal sculpt tonight, eh?
Yeah. Well, all the commission stuff is supposed to be kept under wraps a little bit right now. So.
Yeah, top secret.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna do some sort of orc tonight, starting with a ball, just a ball. So Actually, I'm gonna try to do a speed sculpt video myself. So.
That's fun.
There we go. Oh no.
Well, I have to keep remembering to check the chat because I actually have it up this time. Okay, let's see. So, like, I have 1 month making miniatures. I was using Primo. When I was trying to do details, it was impossible. Why? So, if you have fine English, sir, so don't worry about that. I have never used Primo. My understanding was it was fairly similar to Fimo, but that might not be the case. My other thought would be that it could possibly be old and dried out. That can sometimes be a little difficult to sculpt details with, but I can try and pick up a pack soon and just give it a whirl, see how it feels. Maybe it is different. It might be more difficult to get those tiny details that we require with miniatures.
I wonder.
So my kids just got out of school. Today was their last day.
Oh, nice.
We were watching the 4th Harry Potter movie, and it was right down to the wire to hang out, letting them stay up a little later and everything. But they're great kids, so they stayed quiet, getting ready for bed when we started the hangout.
So did you send your Owl Sword Master off?
I sure did, actually. Where are those pictures? Did I show them last time? I can't remember. Everything's mastered right now, and the production molds are being made. And yeah, I'm super excited about that. I'm trying to get the my little web store finished setting up because that's what I'm going to use for the pledge manager. And hopefully have that done Friday. That's my goal. That's what I wrote down on my to-do list. So got to do it because I want to make sure I have plenty of time for everybody to select exactly what they got, and so I can order more accurate quantities. It's very nice. One of the best things about Kickstarter, you don't end up overstocking stuff that people don't actually want.
Sorry, I had to go away for a second. You said it should be up Friday?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to get the store all finished up by Friday. So I really just have a couple graphics to do, and then there's a couple back-end things I have to finish setting up, but I'm not worried about those. It's mostly trying to finalize graphics.
What are you using for your store?
I was going to use 3D Cart, which looked really cool, but I was asking a buddy of mine who used to help me with web stuff a while ago, and he suggested WooCommerce, which is a WordPress plugin. I think it's a plugin, technically. And that's been great because that's basically free, and then you can pay a little extra for extra add-ons and capabilities, but it's pretty robust all by itself, but no monthly fee or anything. So we'll see how that goes. I might end up changing it if I need to. I'm not married to it or anything, but it was nice to be able to get something set up that he knew very well and could help me with. Didn't have any monthly fees or anything.
Nice.
Yeah. Where's the hole? There it is. This is the super exciting, glamorous part of sculpting, the engineering. So working on anything new?
No.
That's all right. It happens.
I've been so busy.
Yeah.
And as you know, I'm doing the second job, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just really, really busy.
Yep.
I did try. Life and things, and then also there was we took vacation and went away, and then
That's
family
fun.
was visiting here 2 weekends in a row.
That'll kill it.
Yeah,
That'll kill it.
I'm quite exhausted. I may have to do your 100-day thing. That way
It's
I have
fun.
to do.
Right. I'm really missing it. I mean, I'm glad that I don't have it at the moment because I've got some other things that need to be focused on. As far as finishing up the Kickstarter and stuff, but I do miss it. I really liked that, how it really drove me to make sure I was every day. So now I'm going to figure out how I'm going to manage it so that I will post every week. Not quite as regular, but I still need to be doing stuff to be accountable. And even remember to track what I'm doing. So you're talking about it. Oops. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. Just talking about some various techniques and things. Yeah, it's very strange sounding about Primo. I don't know. I'm going to have to try it out. All right, Nico, I have a question. How do I tackle thick material? Do you make first a basic shape and then add folds and wrinkle, sculpt out a bulk shape? You can do it that way, and it's kind of to your preference. I think I tend, to slowly build it up. But I'm just a little more comfortable with that. But I don't know. With that said, you should try and work and get as large of a shape as possible from the beginning. But if you're using Fimo, what's cool about it is you don't have to add all the wrinkles. You can get, more of a larger shape on there. Whoops, I forgot to add. And then you can push back in to create the folds and stuff rather than adding on and sculpting up. You could do that with the putty as well, but obviously you're on the clock then, and so you have to put the full form on at one time, and then sculpt into that after you've kind of got the shape nailed down. It's a little trickier, but doable. There we go. I'll move over to that dwarf miniature once I get this thing set up. So, Tim, so you're starting with a head,
Yeah.
rather than a body. Is that just because? I don't know. I find myself always defaulting to a head in ZBrush for whatever reason too. It's a very easy thing to sculpt in detail and get a sense, even though you kind of need. Like if you're working more generally, it's probably better to start with the body. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mostly sort of start with the face just to get the feel of the guy beforehand.
Yeah. I do that when I draw him sometimes. I'll be working on a body and it's not hitting me, but if you just focus on the head, you get a sense of the character right away.
Right. I was pretty inspired because I'm a big fan of that Shadow of Mordor video game. And they just released some footage from the sequel. Cool. And so I think I am just gonna start making me a cool looking orc. Kind of make him a little bit on the skinnier side. Instead of big. I don't know. We'll see.
Cool.
My favorite thing about ZBrush sometimes is how you can just essentially sketch in it, because I don't really have any concept art. I'm just sort of going off whatever shapes I like and whatnot. What are you working on?
This is the sci-fi dwarf. Not so he don't look like a squat, but he picked it. He designed it. I didn't coach him. I don't think he even knows what a squat is. But he wanted me to. I sculpted one for my daughter that I would sculpt the miniature, and this is what he wanted. So he's supposed to have a mug of ale. I'm gonna put it in like a sci-fi thermos, and then he's got some sort of rifle he's holding down low, but. Think about the pose a little more. I think what I was doing was a little generic and, a little boring. So I'm trying to change it up a little bit.
I've sort of been trying to make some stuff look more generic because the simplicity of it.
Not so dynamic.
Yeah, the simplicity of it is really intriguing me right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go out again.
I think there's a lot doing just. I'm sure it's not really do that. Quit fighting it. Sometimes when you're fighting it, off and start again. There we go. Can actually get to the hang. Punching over a little. Of course, this all would have been easier if I had just done it when it was still just richer and I hadn't put all this clay all over.
Hey Tom.
Yeah.
Did you get your stands from that Kickstarter?
But I'm like in one of the last batches.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if I was the to get one. I found out about it super late. I don't know how I missed it. I'm glad I caught it in time though.
Yeah. I got a bunch of them. I got them a while ago.
Oh, cool.
They're
So
really
you got a
good.
couple different sizes?
Yeah. I got one of the like studio
Awesome.
models.
Awesome.
They're really cool. Although I still, yours is more practical for me. These are nice.
Yeah.
But it's just funny how like yours is much simpler and at the same time just way more practical.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea.
So I think they're also intended, or originally were designed for painting, and so maybe, maybe it's more obviously applicable to that or whatnot. I don't know.
That makes sense.
I'm looking forward to using them for when I'm doing putty work, where I don't have to have them in a glass jar because it's going to set up, it's going to be fine and protected from dust because it's cured.
Right.
So that's what I'm really excited about for it. But we'll see. I look forward to doing a review and talking about it. So, there, I think that's better. Hey, Jay.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just snuck on in.
Yeah, the jar lid thing, which Patrick Keith coined a name for it for me. Thank you, Patrick. He calls them mason jar, which I guess I can't really use because I think that's really a thing.
Nice.
But yeah, that's why I started doing it. I swear I saw somebody else do it, but I can't remember who. So sorry, I'm not crediting them. But yeah, you just sticky tag it down to here, and you're not sculpting with clay. You just cover it up. That way, if somebody bumps it, it's protected, and mostly it just keeps the dust and kind of the air away from it, so it helps the putty not dry. That's one reason why, even though I think it was like 3 years or something between sculpting on Little Knife, it was still, I mean, it was pretty dry, but it wasn't, it was still usable, still workable, which was pretty cool. So is anybody going? I think I've talked about this. Anybody going to Origins? Probably not. But figured I'd ask just in case. It's in Columbus in a couple weeks, mid-June. Be going for fun, but I'm hoping there's a couple of sculptors there I'm gonna meet up with and hang out with a bit.
Yeah, between the convention I went to with you and my vacation, I'm all tapped out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fairly close to it. I'm just going for a day, just for fun. It's been several years since I've gone. I'm not good at learning cinemas or anything like that, classes, but I'm intent to find out, see if it's a place maybe where we can grow. The funny thing is, I was looking at the stats of it the other day, and it says it has about 15,000 unique attendees, which just blew me away. I mean, that's a good size, but last time I went there, that and Gen Con were basically the same size, and I think Origins has remained pretty level. I think it might have grown some and lost some, but it's been fairly level. So that was like crazy because Gen Con's at over 60,000.
I don't know if I could handle being around that many people. That would freak me out.
Gaming events, I should say. You know, the mini hobby stuff seems like it's run as a separate thing, and they always did a good job. People in charge of that. So, could anybody tell that I was having horrible allergies on the last episode of the Mini Sculpting Super Show that I just posted?
I just watched it. I couldn't tell.
Okay, good. I was re-listening to it, and I was like, wow, that doesn't sound as bad as it was, but I was dying when I was doing the voice. Snot was just pouring out of me, and I kept having to cough, and I was like, oh my gosh, I must sound horrible.
I didn't even put it off.
Yeah, I kept putting it off because I'm like, I've gotta let this pass, but I'm like, okay, it's down the wire now. I've got to do this. I'm glad it didn't detract. Let's see. I'm going to do this arm. I'm going to be working on a new digital sculpt soon. Well, you guys saw it during 100 Days. It's that rat character. I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice.
I've been thinking a lot. Yeah, I'm thinking a lot about how I'm going to build it because there's the potential that it might have. It's a solo. It's a one-off, but it might have some buddies down the road. So, trying to think about how I can build it to repose like a standard body build out. Got some good ideas.
Yeah,
Tim helped with some of those for me.
I still have trouble with it because I guess the way I like to approach it is I almost feel like I have to make a new sculpt every time, even though it's supposed to be a conversion. I just can't seem to get the same flow, and to me, it just looks like it's not different or unique enough.
Mm-hmm.
But then, then you start spending more and more time, and it's time to move on to another project. And you're just like, well, dang, I did not plan well. But now I like to try to chop them up into pieces, kind of like what I'm doing with this guy. He's got a torso, one subtool, shoulders, and arms. So that way I can move them individually instead of all as one piece.
That was something really cool that you mentioned that you did, was the whole idea of chopping it up, because especially they want you to build very cleverly, or not cleverly, but technically so that it can be posed very easily and that's what I was trying to follow and do. But I'm like, heck, you can just chop just like you would if you do everything. So I'll keep that in mind. Was this, there's going to be fur on this guy, obviously, and I was remembering what you were showing me about how you work with the different subdivision levels, and so try and do a good job of getting like a set of levels down for his basic anatomy and everything, and then on the highest one do all the fur, and that way I can knock it back really easily, pose, and then fix the fur up if I need to. But I hate doing fur in digital, and so it'll be nice if I can reuse 90% of it.
Yeah, I can see that after looking at some older sculpts that people have done with fur capes, it seems like it is a bit easier traditional, because you just sort of manipulate your tool and sort of dig in, and really you can make fur really easily, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost, in ZBrush, the way I've tackled it has always been kind of with pattern alphas and stuff, but that's obviously a pattern, and And you can do a pattern in traditional, but it's almost just as easy or easier to just knock them out. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like it's a little harder to, individually create the pieces of fur in digital, but maybe it's just because I haven't found my way.
I know exactly. There's a lot of people that like fur. Fur is a big thing.
Yeah, fur's cool. Fur's awesome. That's a tutorial I want to cover very soon. Ooh, I picked up. What is this game called? Brain fart. Lost Patrol. Warhammer 40,000 Lost Patrol. I haven't put any arms on my Jinx Steelers yet, but this is a fun little game. It's like 10 minutes long. It almost seems silly to be putting so much effort in building the models, but it looks cool when you have it done. But it's a fun little like Predator themed game, or I guess it'd be more like Aliens in the Jungle than Predator. But your guys are just running through the jungle trying to escape. Man, it's hard. It's brutal.
I've been wanting to play more tabletop games, but I haven't had time.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. I can recommend that one. But it's super, super simple. So don't expect anything like super fancy, but I get a kick out of it. My kids love it. My son wants to play the Jinx Steelers all the time because they slaughter the Marines. But I surprise them sometimes. Do okay, but I haven't won. The best I've done was the very first game. I got super lucky with the way it's basically you have these little tiles. Actually, I have some right here. So like you'll start in the middle, this middle tile, and there's 6 branches, and then he just starts flipping tiles and building it out and so on and so forth. And I got super lucky and had this 2 massive straightaways, which probably took out half of the pile of tiles, because you have to go through all of them to try and get to the end. And so I revealed the final tile. I didn't get it placed on the board, but I've seen it at the bottom of the pile since, though.
How long are the like 10 minutes?
They're probably 10 minutes. But what's great too is sometimes you'll have a fast game, but it's got a lot of setup. This is like 0 setup. It's just because it's all part of the game, and so it's great. It's great. And I got a super good deal on it too. So the Games Preserve had a bunch of up in my old stomping grounds. Had a bunch of items stickered, and they're like, "Hey, yep, if it's got a sticker, we'll haggle." And so I was like, I had a price in mind, and so it's like sweet.
So it came out fairly recently?
Yes, I think it might be over a year old, this version. It's actually a remake or reprint of an old game, just with updated art and miniatures. A game from 2000. But I think they did change it slightly, but probably not a ton. But yeah, it's fairly recent. You can still find it in a lot of stores and stuff. I forgot to check the chat. Have I used the playback talent feature in ZBrush yet? That might work nice since you aren't doing a daily vlog. Yeah, I need to look into that. I found some tutorials on it. Tim, did you say you had ended up using that or not yet?
No, I should have tried it tonight. I'm doing the QuickTime method tonight. Or I should.
I need to look into it. I know there's a lot of really interesting settings and stuff with that, like where you can just have it play back history and does those like fancy motions and stuff, but I need to look into it. I also I want to watch some more tutorials on that software I did find. I'm not sure what happened. It seemed like it was working, and then for whatever reason, when I sped it up, it just seemed to be skipping, and I didn't have it. We should have been able to see more steps in between each stroke and whatnot, but figure something out.
I feel like there's a couple of different type of speed sculpt videos. There's that one where it's just like your screen, what I'm doing, and it's just speed sculpting. And there's one where it like sort of zooms in on certain parts and zooms out and I don't know.
I think that's the one that's based on your history, but I could be wrong.
You know what I'm talking about, though? It's sort of weird looking.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I like the look of that. It's very neat. When I first saw it, I'm like, what the heck? How did they do that? Yeah, ZBrush is a sweet program.
I think I'm messing up my arm. Well. Honestly, just trying to get this going as fast as I can. Now I got a lumpy arm. When you first started out with traditional sculpting, did you feel like a lot of your models were real lumpy?
I felt like it was hard to make them not lumpy, and I worked very hard to make them not lumpy. Yeah. Well, it worked in such small bits of time, which made me take even longer than most people, and so I was more struggling with the idea of like waiting too long for something to cure and not being confident enough to work on it when it was a larger element. I find it's very much easier personally. I feel like it's much easier to make stuff lumpy in ZBrush than I ever did sculpting traditionally. But I think part of that is because it's a lot easier to use a big tool. Yeah, well, I mean, it's just as easy in ZBrush, but it's very easy to not use a big tool.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think I might have actually used too big of a subdivision for this block. Not the way it looks. That's what they always say, right? It's gonna look bad 98% of the time. Until the very end.
I'm here. I'm not flagged out.
There you go. Oh.
Yeah, OBS Dreadnought, that's what I was using. It seems like a really cool program. I'm sure that it doesn't have to do that to the page.
My wife just made me some cookies.
Yum.
Nice.
Wow. They're supposed to be healthier cookies, so we'll see.
Spinach cookies?
No, not quite, but
Are they?
buying some form of like coconut sugar or something. That's supposed to be.
Oh, that sounds really good.
It tastes pretty good though, actually.
I think you were. Oops.
I think you're breaking up a little bit. Tom.
Yeah,
It could be
something. I did. It looked like I was about to drop out of the stream a little bit ago. So it might be me after all. Okay, so this dwarf dude I'm sculpting, he is supposed to have a mug of ale in this hand, and he's going to have some sort of sci-fi rifle shotgun thing in this hand, but it's going to be more like propped up on the ground, or maybe just being held in his hand or arm. My son really wants this arm to be like up, like, yeah, cheers. But I was thinking about having it tucked more into the body, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me put it on me. There we go. Is it too boring with it? Just, I was going to have him kind of hunched forward a little bit. Just head forward a little bit, kind of with a goofy grin and like, yeah. But maybe he should be, raising in a toast or something instead.
I don't know. I like the idea of the goblet toast.
So higher up, raised. I did a dwarf like this once a long time ago. Yeah, that does look kind of cool.
I just found out recently there seems to be a large prejudice of dwarves.
Where people don't like them?
Yeah.
Yes, people either love dwarves or hate them. I used to do a lot of dwarves back in the day. Why won't this focus? There we go. And everybody always told me that I don't like dwarves, but I like your dwarves, which made me feel good. But yeah, it's like people either love them or hate them. I don't know. I wonder if some of it's like there's kind of been certain styles over the years, and I think certain people kind of have a sense of what a dwarf should look like or is, and
Right.
There's a lot of slight varied interpretations.
Is it because they're butt to paint, or I just don't know.
I don't know. I think I wonder if it's more it comes out of like D&D where like people prefer this kind of character to play this kind of character over that kind of character, and people that don't like dwarves don't like dwarves. I don't know. Anybody that's watching this in the future, hit here and I'll read out your opinion. Comment. What do you think? Why do you think dwarves? That's right. Dwarves are the best, Dreadnought. And apparently the lag is me. So sorry about that, guys. Yeah, that's a good call. This is a lot more fun looking. Tip him back this way. But I haven't heard as much about it these days. But I haven't sculpted a dwarf in forever. Maybe that's why. I love dwarves.
Because during the Significant 7 Kickstarter,
Yes.
a lot of people commented, and they were like, "I don't really like dwarves, but I like these." Oh.
Yeah. Well, but they say that, but then they still don't buy them, right? I mean, that was the case with me too, Because even if they, if they don't like dwarves, they're not going to buy dwarves, right? I mean, they might with the way you did it, but they're still not a dwarf collector. This is very interesting.
I guess they just think they're boring or something. Could be the case.
Dwarves, I don't know. Not sure where that started, but I just always loved them. So what I always wanted to be in D&D and Warhammer Quest and Hero Quest.
Yeah, I think
They're
mine
super.
was because Gimli was my favorite in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I mean, those movies came out when I was like 10 or 11. So,
The movies?
yeah.
Your baby.
Yes.
Yeah. 1990,
Oh man.
my year.
Wow.
That's what I say about the kids born in like 2000, 2003.
You know, I don't know. I really like the books, and I liked the Lord of the Rings movies. But did anybody see the Hobbit
Movies?
films?
Yeah.
Man, they knocked me right out. Like literally, I've never fallen asleep,
They're long.
but I fell asleep during the first episode of The Hobbit.
Those are really long.
Yeah. And the visual effects on it is good.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Lord of the Rings better than the Hobbit. Hobbit's got good stuff, but
Well, the scene that really sticks out is when he's on the gold mine, or like the liquid gold.
yeah, that was very weird looking.
It just looks, I don't know.
But we have some comments about dwarves. Dreadnought's actually in a D&D campaign that has 2 dwarves, 1 high elf, and 1 drow. That sounds like gonna have some animosity there.
Yeah, some
Mikawai
problems.
said Yeah. Mikawai says, people tend to take it personal. Not everyone imagines themselves as a little bearded, smelly, barfing dwarf. I always liked them because they were, tough as stone and, could just take anything. So even though I'm a pretty tall guy and everything, I guess that was, for me, that was my fantasy. I wanted to be a tough thing that nobody could. That's a good point. They definitely are very specific style. You don't tend to see the females that much. I mean, you do nowadays. But even that, it feels like it's one of those things where I think people are still trying to figure out what they look like, because if you make them just look like a human, but a short human, I don't know. It's the problem I always had with World of Warcraft when they had the female orcs. I was like, they just looked like humans with green skin. It felt like kind of a cheap cop out, but they wanted to be able to make them quote unquote beautiful. I think it would have been way cooler if they just made them look brutal. And they could have made a brutal one female still. I mean, look at like gorillas and stuff. They don't look like us, but you can tell they're female and they're still bestial and everything. But I'm gonna try and bulk this guy up fast. I'll just tear down if I have to. Habit that I have a little at a time, but now even though when I do this fast and stuff, it's still good to once you get it kind of all bulked up in place when you're working with the polyclay, it's good to let it sit for a while afterwards, because when you work in this fast, the clay stays so soft. It actually is a little hard to manipulate. When you add on more stuff, everything squishes. But if you leave it alone for a bit, it will firm up just because it's not as warm. Then you can add on extra layers and refine, have a little more control. It's a little bit like how putty works, but you can still go back and alter anything and everything, which is what I always like about it. Maybe it is a complex. Yeah, Gunnar says he's a tall guy. He usually plays a dwarf. Maybe it's some kind of complex. I don't know. That'd be. I'm sure there's some geek psychiatrist out there these days. Might want to study that. How weird is that though? How like popular geekdom is. Like it's everywhere. I mean, everybody's a geek in some way. I mean, the sports guys were always geeks. They just didn't know it. But
Yeah.
you know, now it's cool to be geeky about non-sports stuff.
I'm glad. I mean, cons are getting more popular, which is always cool, and people are wanting to play board games more. I like.
It's pretty awesome. Oh, I got to see Alien Covenant. I won't talk about it much because
They still haven't gotten it here.
really,
Yeah.
man, it was so good. Now you like Prometheus, right, Jay?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Okay, I thought I remember you said that. Yeah, you're gonna love this one then. And I think most people that maybe I can't promise that as somebody that didn't like Prometheus will like this, but one of the biggest complaints that I always remember hearing from people was that it was very archaic. And, maybe that's not the right word. What am I looking for? It just had a lot of questions that it wasn't answering. It just kept putting forth these really very cryptic.
Sure.
And that bothered a lot of people. I loved it. This one didn't. It was still super intriguing, but it wasn't cryptic the way Prometheus was. I didn't think. So I think anybody that had a problem with Prometheus in that respect will enjoy this a lot more.
I'm just a fan of Ridley Scott in general. I don't think I've seen one of his films that I haven't liked. I mean, even Legend, which is wasn't my.
I love that movie. I didn't even know it was him until like a couple of years ago. But I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's an excellent film.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of fantasy period, and then to do one with that much depth, that was a good show.
So everybody go see Covenant so we keep getting more good Alien movies. Because come on, even if you didn't care for Prometheus, this vein of Alien movies is better than Alien Resurrection. As fun as that can be, I don't know.
Hey Tom, did you like Prometheus?
I love Prometheus. I loved it. That's why I bring this up, because I've typically been surrounded by people that did not.
Oh, no. So not what I do.
Uh-oh. Did you squish something? Or are you just sad about nobody liking Prometheus?
It sounded like something got smushed.
You talking about me?
I don't know. I thought I heard somebody go, "Oh no!"
That was me. I think I did something bad.
Just hit undo, man.
No, I merged it, and it specifically says you can't.
That's right.
And one thing
There are a couple of things.
Just add another face. Is it the face to the knee?
Well, I was trying to calculate. I think I got it. I think what is it? This is so annoying. I hate it when it does this. I was trying to get my heads correct, head height. I just ended up accidentally merging the wrong amount of heads. I needed these to be in a group together. I think I just.
Let's look at Tim. Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. That's frustrating. Man, I'm so super anal about brush because I'm just terrified I'm gonna make something a bad size. That's a good way to do it. Have a little do the head height thing, and then a little over the gauge stuff.
Yeah, well, I keep jumping back and forth between 5 and 6 heads.
Yeah. Do you have a preference?
What do you
think yet? Oh, Tim Dreadnought says Tim just cannot get ahead. Dreadnought says I want to see Prometheus. I've heard good things. Yeah, if you watch it after you're done, I suggest going and finding. There's some interviews and articles when David Lindelof were interviewed, and they talk a lot about the background. And I didn't know any of that going in, but they explain a lot of what you're seeing, which I think the detractors don't like that. They would rather have had it be in the movie, but I don't mind because I thought it was pretty cool that they had even considered that stuff. And then that's kind of, it's what they were thinking, but they didn't explicitly put it in the movie, so it's not 100% potentially. So it leaves a lot of it up to you and in your mind and your interpretation. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I'm probably pretty biased against Ridley Scott. Blade Runner was the first film I saw in the theater. I was like,
oh, wow.
It was like 85, 83, 85. Like 7 or 8.
I don't think I ended up.
Anyway.
It was pretty early. Yeah. I saw it much later in life. And I'd never seen the original narrated version.
Yeah, that's what I saw in the theater when I was a kid, but I didn't remember the narration. And do you like it or do you not like it?
Well, I've never seen it with narration, so and I'll tell you my experience. Yeah, I saw it. We got it on DVD, and I think I was in high school when I finally saw it for the first time. And I always remembered everybody. My friend, he did see it with narration. He was always, "Oh yeah, the narration's horrible," just saying what thing everybody always says. And I remember the whole time thinking, "Oh my gosh, I wish there was something telling me what's going on." So, yeah. But I was younger, and maybe I wasn't catching the subtleties as much.
Some people really like it.
So I want to see it with it sometime.
I think some people pretend to hate it, and I think some people truly do hate it. But
yeah,
I mean, you know, it was a Hollywood blockbuster movie, and that's what the producers wanted, you know.
Yeah. Well, maybe they were smart and true, and they realized that not everybody was gonna get it. I don't know. Actually, now that I'm talking about it, it makes me think of a little bit of how Prometheus was handled, where they just did things, and then there wasn't always enough information to really truly understand what the characters were really thinking, and it was kind of up to your interpretation.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I do like it. I've watched it many times. I got to see it in theaters. I don't remember how many years ago, but it got re-released in theaters. Gosh, it's probably 10 years ago now. That was a lot of fun. I dragged my wife to it. It was her first time seeing it. No narration again.
It's a Blade Runner?
And, yeah, it's a Blade Runner. It was we usually sneak out at Thanksgiving. We used to sneak out and go see movies, you know, when everybody was sleepy from the turkey. And I dragged her to that. She was not happy.
Didn't like it, huh?
She didn't care for it.
No. Well, to tell you what struck me was I forget her name. She played the
Sean.
No, she played the dancer with the snake.
Oh yeah. She's a supermodel or something, right?
I forget her name.
She did.
But that was the first. Again, the first.
Drew.
And it had bare breasts. And as a kid,
yeah.
I remember that scene, and it seemed like it was on the screen for just minutes. And then when I finally watched it later, you know, it's barely a flash. I mean, it's just there and gone. But as a kid, I remember stretching that scene out in my mind for what just seemed almost an eternity. I'd never seen anything like that. And so it made, I guess it made, that's another reason I like Scott so much. It just made the movie, 10-year-old kid, even a smart 10-year-old kid, it's a pretty deep film. You're not going to get the, you're not going to get the context.
Yeah.
I think that really made the film for me as a kid. Because I remember coming out and going, oh, that was the greatest film. Oh, I loved it. What about the new Disney film? What's it? Dead Men Tell No Tales?
The Pirates?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
Pirates.
not seen that.
That's what's showing here locally.
Probably will. My kids really, I mean, I've enjoyed them when I've seen them, but I thought they started getting a little over the top, but my kids love them, so I'm sure we'll end up seeing them eventually. Seeing it.
My wife and I, we go to the movies every single weekend to see anything and everything. So and this weekend will be Wonder Woman, I believe.
Is that this weekend?
I think so.
Wow, man, these movies are all sneaking up on me. I actually didn't even realize Covenant was out. It was like, until it was out for a couple days.
The superhero franchise really took off, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hold on. Oh, I'm being cooked 7.
Uh-oh.
What's that?
Yeah, we were still talking about Blade Runner. Nice quote. Yeah, I'm very excited for the new one. I haven't watched any previews, so I'll let everybody in on this idiosyncrasy that usually only people that I work with or closer friends know. I don't watch previews or trailers for things that I know I want to see. So I like to go in totally cold without any preconceived notions whatsoever.
I do the same thing, Tom.
Yeah, sweet. You're awesome, Rich.
I'm the only guy in the showing previews in the beginning of the movie. I have my head down, humming to myself.
That's what I do. That's awesome. I didn't know that about you. That's great.
I can understand why you
movies I
do
know
that.
I'm gonna see, just like you said.
Oh, I can't and I've got some friends who they live for trailers. They just love it, and that's fine. But I can't get over how awesome it is to see a movie open and you have no idea, how it's going to unfold. No preconceived notions. It's a great feeling, in my opinion.
Apparently, my newest puppy was chewing on a bug.
A bug?
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Okay.
I thought you said a book. So a bug is much better than a book.
Yeah, I'll take the bug over a book. So I had to clean it up. He's a little devious.
Yeah, on the trailer thing, I kind of already know a major plot thing in Covenant because I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I didn't want to see that. I did not want to see that. And I won't say what it was, but
yeah. Well, that's kind of tricky too because Covenant and Prometheus, they both had these really great pre-movie marketing things. They have these videos where they're interviewing the crew, and that's a totally legitimate and valid thing to watch. Or you go see the movie, but then I watched all these after because again I didn't realize it was out until it was out, and but there was one called a prologue, and it was more of a trailer, and it showed some pretty big things. I was like, what the heck? Yeah, it probably is. I was shocked. So anybody that's going to watch it, just try and only watch the little crew interviews if you're going to watch anything ahead of time. Otherwise, you'll
I think the biggest offender of that right now is that Spider-Man trailer.
Oh man, yeah, that's another movie that I forget. That's almost here too, right?
Well, the trailer for that, I feel like, gave away a ton of stuff. But who knows?
Probably did. That's what Bernard was saying. They give everything away nowadays. He agrees.
Yeah, I was told to avoid that Spider-Man trailer for the same reason, so I haven't seen it, the newer trailer.
Yeah, I think it's the second trailer. I think it just. I don't know. I don't know why they do that, but apparently it seems like it gives a lot away. Who knows?
Yeah.
So speaking of Spider-Man, I totally missed the. Did they do? Are the Amazing Spider-Mans? Did they do 2 or 3 of those?
2.
2, and they were. Yeah, I missed both of those.
They're all right.
Now I'm trying to. Yeah, I wanted to see the first one, but I just didn't for whatever reason. But now I'm like, I mean, I guess I could watch it just for the fun of it. But part of me is kind of like, well, they're changing him. He's becoming this now, and it's going to be the greater Marvel universe. So maybe I don't even need to bother. I don't know.
I really enjoy movies a lot, so I watch
a
lot of movies in my spare time.
I
think it's just sad because I thought Andrew Garfield was pretty good as Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, he seemed awesome.
And this new guy seems great too. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. Logan, I need to see that. That just came out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To the rental places. That's one I wish I got in the theater for, but.
Your theater didn't show Logan?
What'd you say?
Did you say your theater didn't show Logan?
No, I didn't get to the theater.
Oh.
In time to see it.
That's a really good one as well.
No, I haven't lived in a place where theaters don't have much for a while, so they pretty much have everything. I feel pretty good about this guy. He'll probably get a little bigger and chunkier before I get into the details, but I want the clay to cure on this arm and head first. So I can kind of establish that. I need to do the gun so I can get that into position in his hands. So that'll help things a lot. But I need to record that because I'm going to do a gun tutorial soon.
Hey.
Holy crap! This hour flew by. So, how's everybody feeling about what they got done during the hangout? I'm feeling pretty good.
Some progress.
I go so slow when I'm talking with people. So I always try and be in a bulking stage. It's a lot easier to just throw stuff on.
Oh, I felt like I got nowhere.
You got a lot done. We have fun playing Dark Souls, or not. We're all about to sign off here too, so. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad we did this bonus one. And hopefully, it looks like the way I've got the links going out and the notifications, I think everybody's finding it now that wants to find it. So it was helpful to get that all figured out. So we'll still have another hangout the last Wednesday of June for the June hangout. So I hope you will be here then as well. We can hang out some more.
Yeah, I'll have stuff next time, Tom.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing you, man.
All right, take care, everybody.
All right.
Hey, thanks, everybody. Thanks, Tom.
Yep. See you guys. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Goodbye.